Hey guys, what's up? Mokachu here. Welcome to my first Pokemon video. So yeah, let's get this started. Today I'm going to be explaining my thoughts on why I don't think Garbodor has like a terrible design. Although he is a trash monster Pokemon, he looks like a big trash monster. I don't think he's that bad, and this is kind of why. So like in the Black and White anime series, in the episode called Rocking the Verbank Gym Part 2, Roxy, which is she's like the gym leader of Verbank City. She's a poison type gym leader. Her ace Pokemon is actually a Garbodor, and Ash has a bit of trouble with this guy. But basically, when she battles Ash, Garbodor uses its body in like lots of creative and strange ways to catch Ash off guard and all of his Pokemon. And this is kind of coming into why I think the design's not too bad. Like the anime really shows off like the logic of his design. So, for example, pretty early on, Garbodor uses like his arms, and they can actually stretch. So he has like stretchy arms which can extend and like knock Pokemon off their feet and catch them off guard, so he can follow it through with other attacks. So that kind of explains why he has weird stringy gangly arms which look really impractical, but in actuality they're actually not too impractical because he can use them, because he can stretch them pretty much. So yeah, this helped Garbodor move a lot faster than you probably think he could, because obviously he's a big like trash monster. You don't expect him to run around at agility like speed very fast like Pikachu can, for example. But yeah, he basically uses his extendable arms to also use moves like double slap. It's like slap Ash's Pokemon like Pignite, for example, and it does a lot of damage because it's like surprising. You wouldn't expect those kind of moves from a Pokemon that big, and debatably that slow without them, if you get what I mean. But yeah, he even tries to knock Pikachu off his feet by using his arms like a skipping rope. Like Pikachu has to jump over them like he's skipping. And it's also a good strategy because Garbodor can use his arms to keep his opponents off balance, and then he can like follow through with a more devastating attack, like one of his poison moves, like Gunk Shot, for example. So yeah, this method of battling was quite effective against Ash because it basically just kept him on his toes and he couldn't relax for a second, and it gave Roxy an advantage because she had the element of surprise over Ash. And I may not be talking about much about the games at the moment, but I'll get to that, and I'll be explaining why he's not that bad. But yeah, so at first glance Garbodor literally looks like trash, but he has some interesting kind of parts to his design, and I think he's quite a unique Pokemon, although he's not very loved. Yeah, I kind of like the poor guy. But anyway, let's continue. So Garbodor's like unique design abilities also work well with Roxy's style of battling. So I'm kind of talking about the anime a lot, but yeah, it's his strange design gives Roxy an advantage, like his body, because it can move in weird ways. But yeah, and debatably, when you think about it, Roxy probably was going to beat Ash if Pikachu's static ability didn't work on Garbodor and stopped him from following through on one of his attacks, because static's pretty devastating in the anime. But yeah, anyway, Garbodor also uses his body in another creative way. It shoots Venoshock from the tubes in its fingers, because when you look at Garbodor's design, like his fingers kind of look like weird tubes, and you're not exactly sure what they're for. But it's shown in the anime that he actually shoots poison out of them to attack with Gunk Shot, and probably a couple of other moves which we didn't see. Maybe if he knew Poison Sting, it would probably come out of there as well, like shoot out. But yeah, it puts things into perspective with his design, because unlike in the games where, like in Black and White, you didn't have loads of good animations, so you didn't know where all his attacks were really coming from. You just assumed it flew out of his body or something. But yeah, his fingers actually shoot poison out, which I think is actually very creative as a design, and it kind of adds to my point of his design isn't bad, it's just unconventional, and not very pretty. He's not a cute Pokemon. Trubbish is kind of a little cuter, but yeah, Garbodor's ugly, but his design isn't bad in that respect. Like the people who made I'm not sure who made his design. I'm not going to look it up right now, but yeah, they definitely thought about his design in the sense of they thought of how practical he would be in the sense of when he's actually battling, where all his attacks would come from. But yeah, Gunk Shot looks really awesome in the anime because it looks like a gun if you know what I mean. Like, he's literally shooting it out of his hands on his fingers. I think it looks really cool in the anime. So that's something I appreciate about his design, personally. But yeah, and it's something I don't think people would think when they first look at Garbodor. They wouldn't expect his design to actually have any thought behind it. A lot of people would just hate on him and say, oh, he's just an ugly trash monster. Game Freak have no good ideas. But I disagree. Like, a lot of the time, Game Freak and Pokemon, the people who make the Pokemon, they tend to make strange designs for Pokemon. But when you actually think about their anatomy, it actually, a lot of the time, makes a bit of sense. In editing, I will point this out much earlier, but when I was saying Gunk Shot earlier, I meant to say Venoshock. Yeah, so sorry about that. But yeah, he also can learn Gunk Shot. He shows off Gunk Shot in the anime. I mix them up because they sound pretty similar. Yeah, it's pretty late here, so. But yeah, Gunk Shot is basically, he creates a huge pile of trash, which I assume is from his body, or he can create it because he's a poison type, and he launches it at his opponents. It's like a huge kind of object, I suppose, he creates out of trash. And yeah, that's pretty devastating against some of Ash's Pokemon. And yeah, the poison really racks up against him at that point. But yeah, I think it's another cool move, and it makes sense with his design because he's made of trash. So yeah, that's another reason it's not too bad. So yeah, I'm not expecting a load of people to praise Garbodor now. I pointed this out, but I think it's pretty, interesting. I thought I'd give everyone a new perspective, maybe, if all of you guys hate Garbodor. I'm not expecting anyone to be like, oh no, I love Garbodor now because I've explained how his design is not too bad. If you hate Garbodor, you don't like him, I'm fine with it. I just thought I'm going to defend some of the Pokemon which people bash, and sometimes a bit undeservedly, in my opinion. But anyway, on to the games. I'm not seeing a lot of people also praising Garbodor's stats. However, his move pool's kind of interesting, and he can learn a lot more than you might expect. I took a couple of screenshots a while ago, and as you can see, Garbodor's strongest stats are the physical attack stats and its defense and special defense, which are actually equal, but they're all pretty high. And you could train him in a couple of different ways. You can make him like defensive and normal physical defense, or more powerful in special defense, and he could be like a surprising wall, because obviously he's a poison type, so you can use his defense to his advantage by using toxic, because pretty much all poison types can learn that through TM if they don't learn it naturally. And yeah, you could do a little store strategy of Garbodor and rack up some damage with Venoshock once you poison them. So yeah, I thought I'd also point out some of Garbodor's moves that he learns naturally. So I'm just going to do the best ones in my opinion. He learns Gunk Shot, which is kind of his signature move, even though he's not the only Pokemon that can learn it. I don't believe he's the only Pokemon that can learn it, but in the anime it's his signature move, I think. So like, that's 120 power. Sorry, I have like a scent sprayer at my parents' house, and it's going off every now and again. But yeah, yeah, it's a physical move. Gunk Shot's physical, sorry about that. But yeah, Gunk Shot's a physical move, 120 power. And when you think about it, that is quite a damn powerful move. I think its accuracy is pretty high as well. It's not like a Hyper Beam. So yeah. He also learns Acid Spray, Stockpile, Swallow, Toxic, which is a great move, Toxic Spikes, which is interesting. So you could throw him out on your first turn of the battle, and Toxic Spikes can set in and poison your opponent's Pokemon. So that's a pretty good move that he can learn. Body Slam, which works with how big he is with his weight. I believe Body Slam's power, I think they changed it. It used to be how heavy they were, but I'm not sure if that's still the case. But Body Slam's powerful, and it also has the side ability of possibly paralyzing a Pokemon. Sludge Bomb, which is a good special move, which has a high chance of poison, and it can also learn Hyper Beam, which is probably not the best move in the world, but it's got a lot of power behind it. So yeah, and some of the good TM moves he can learn are Venoshock, which actually I would say I keep mixing Venoshock and Gunk Shot up. Venoshock's probably his signature move in the anime because he shoots it out of his hands, his tube fingers. So yeah, he also learns Sunny Day, which is a good move for a lot of teams, like fire types especially. Mega Charizard Y. Facade, which I believe it does double damage if he's got a status problem. So yeah, that's a powerful move with his strong physical attack stack, because that's actually a physical move, I believe. Payback, which does double damage if he hits second, and that's a physical move, and it's also a dark move. Dark Pulse, which is a special attack dark move, pretty interesting. And you can also learn Rock Polish, which I believe increases speed significantly. So yeah, that's very useful for a Pokemon like Garbodor that's not too fast. So if you can set up with Agility and Toxic Spikes, or Toxic, and then you start using Venoshock, you can do a lot of damage. So with a move pool like that, you could definitely train Garbodor in a few different ways, and in very surprising ways, really. So yeah, and not to mention, something I thought I'd point out, Garbodor's shiny form actually looks really awesome in my opinion. Instead of being kind of an more ugly greenish colour like trash, it's actually aqua blue. So yeah, that, I think I'll have a picture of it up on the screen. I think that looks really cool, and his shiny poke form definitely makes him look a bit better in my opinion. So yeah, I hope this video might actually make you appreciate Garbodor more. You know, I'm probably not doing a very good job, but I thought it would be fun to make a video to get people to maybe appreciate his design a little more and the Pokemon as a whole, because I think he has a little bit of potential. But yeah, if you like Garbodor, let me know in the comments. I can't imagine many people do though, because he's probably one of the most hated Pokemon. But yeah, if you enjoy the video, leave a like, follow my Twitter, the link will be in the description, subscribe to me on YouTube, and comment on what other ideas you want for other Pokemon videos. I'm also really into World of Warcraft, so I'll probably be making some videos on that soon at some point. But yeah, anyway, that about wraps up my first Pokemon video. I thought I'd make a slightly different video compared to some of the other YouTubers out there. And as a first video, I think it really stands out. But yeah, if you have anything else to talk about, you want me to talk about, just leave it in the comment section. And yeah, more love for Garbodor. Anyway, I'm Mokachu, and I'll see you soon. Bye. I'm on a master quest. I wanna hold